Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be doing a video of all the modifications I've done to my R32 over the years. I'm going to put a link in the description below of all my mods so you guys can check it out. Go check out what exactly I have, and you guys go price it out for yourselves if you guys want to do anything, my modifications to your car. Let's do this. Alright guys, so my first modification, and probably the modification that makes my car so unique and different from everyone else's R32, is my supercharger setup. So I have a VF Engineering Stage 2 supercharger setup. It has a V9 supercharger on it, and it runs about 8 pounds of boost. I really love this supercharger kit, as you guys may remember from the video 10 Things I Love Most About My R32. The only thing that really sucks about it, you can't buy this kit anymore from VF Engineering. If you want this kit, you're going to have to go on forums like VW Vortex and try to find it that way. So that's the only way you guys are really going to be able to get a supercharger kit like my car. Just so you guys know, that kit, my VF Engineering kit, will probably run around $2,500 to $3,000 depending on the shape of the kit. Also depending if there's high-speed bearings upgrades on the supercharger and whether it comes with a cog kit or not. I'm just going to show you guys a quick video of the engine bay again, just so you can see, for you who've not seen my previous videos, what my engine bay looks like with the supercharger in it. So like I said before, guys, that is my supercharger kit by VF Engineering. As you can tell, that's the supercharger. It's crammed in there really tight. Plumbing comes down around here. And I don't know if you can see this, but in the front, yeah, you can't really see it. It has a front mount intercooler. That's really the difference between a Stage 1 and a Stage 2 VF Engineering kit. So there's also a Stage 3 and a Stage 4 kit. Those have, I think, they're V2 superchargers on them, so they're going to push more power and higher PSI than what my V9 supercharger pushes. So those are the real main difference between those kits. So the next modification I did to my car was I ended up putting new engine and transmission mounts in the car. When I first bought the car, they had the stock OEM mounts in the car, and the motor was actually moving a lot when you'd accelerate and stuff like that. So I wanted to get rid of that. I upgraded and put actually VF Engineering mounts in there. So that's really helped with the movement of the motor, and overall they are a lot more secure. I'll put a link in the description below for these mounts so you guys can actually see exactly what I bought. So the next modification I did to my car was I actually upgraded the bearings from the stock bearings to high-speed bearings. The reason why I did this was originally the car had 45,000 miles on it when I bought it. The original owner actually bought the car at 5,000 miles and supercharged the car right away. So there was 40,000 miles on the original bearings for the supercharger. Also, my long-term goal for the car was to actually cog the setup for the supercharger, and in order to do that, I needed to upgrade to high-speed bearings so they can handle the heat. So I went ahead and had Exit 9 Performance down in New Jersey do this for me, and the mechanic that actually did it, his name's Ellery. I would definitely recommend him for any kind of work really for VR6 motors. He was a great guy, and he's helped me a lot with actually my car. So the next modification I did to my car, about a year after I upgraded my high-speed bearings in my supercharger kit, I ended up buying Exit 9's cog supercharger setup for my V9 setup on my car. The reason why I did this was I was actually getting a lot of belt slip, and it's very common for this setup, and I wanted to get rid of that. So the only way to really do that was to go ahead and buy a cog kit. Exit 9's kit is actually an auxiliary cog setup, so there's actually two belts. There's one that drives from the crank up to the supercharger, and the other one goes from the crank all the way up through like the timing or the water pump and the power steering setup for the car. So the separation of those two belts actually allows you, if say for some reason the supercharger belt breaks, you could still actually drive the car without that one belt. So I really like that aspect of the car. It kind of allows you to have more flexibility and not leave you stranded. So I went ahead and actually bought this kit, and once again my friend Ellery actually helped me install the cog setup. And to be honest, the cog setup is not very easy to install. For us, it took us around 10 hours to install the whole setup. There's a lot of issues with the cog on the crank actually clearing the frame rail. Once we were actually able to get that to clear though, we got it all in. We actually had to machine out part of my mounts, and then it all fit in, and I haven't had a problem with it since, so it's been actually really good. Just like I said, the original installation was a real pain for it. The next modification I did was I bought a 42 draft design catch can for my car. The reason why I did this was the way the Supercharger is set up, it actually routes your PVC or PCV valve out into the intake, and then it will drip oil residue down onto your MAF airflow sensor, and it will set off a check engine light on your car. And it gets really annoying, when you're just driving and you have a check engine light for your MAF being out. So I actually got the catch can in order to catch all those vapors and prevent this from happening. So each time I actually go ahead and I do an oil change, I actually drain out my catch can also, and I haven't had an issue with it setting off the MAF airflow sensor since basically I installed this. The next modification I did in my car was I bought a new exhaust. When I originally had the car, or bought the car, I actually got a Borla catback exhaust with this car. It was a nice exhaust and everything like that, but for me personally, it was just too quiet. So I actually went ahead and I bought a 3-inch non-resonated catback CTS exhaust, and then I installed that on the car. And for me overall, I'm so happy with that installation. The exhaust just really woke up the car, really brought that VR6 sound. And for me, it was exactly what I was looking for, to get that raspy VR motor sounding back out of the car. So the next modification I did in my car was I needed to buy new rotors and new pads for my car. Once again, the previous owner never actually bought new rotors or pads for the car, and like I said, I had over, at that point, 50,000 miles in the car, and I was starting to get some brake squealing, and also the rotors were starting to warp a little bit. So I actually went ahead and I bought the new ECS tuning brake kit, basically. Upgraded, got new drilled and slotted rotors, and I actually got new OEM pads for the car, and the car's been performing perfectly fine since then. I'll just show you quickly right now what they look like on the car so you guys can actually see. So as you guys can see, the drilled and slotted rotors in here, and like I said before, I actually just put OEM pads back on the car just because they were fine for me originally. So, no problem with the car. It all works well as of right now. So I also bought aftermarket Hella front headlights, and I actually bought the blacked out headlights. And the reason why I did that was because I thought, black and red would look pretty good together. As of right now, I'm actually thinking about switching them and buying a different type of front headlight, but I'll show you guys exactly what the Hella blacked out front headlights look like. So the next parts I bought, I'm probably going to slaughter the name of it, but they're called Gruvenparts, and what they are, it's the front swaybar end links, they're fully adjustable, rear fully adjustable swaybar end links, and upper and lower control arms for the rear of the car. The reason why I bought them was because at this point I was thinking about bagging my car, and I wanted to actually have full adjustability for my car in order so I didn't have ridiculous camber on it once I aired out the car or when I was driving it. So I went ahead and bought all this. I'll put a picture of what the product looks like, and I'll put a link for the product in the description below also for you guys. So my most recent and most expensive basically purchase was my Airlift suspension for my car. I bought the brand new 3H setup for my car originally, so I actually had a shop near my house install it because I was not sure how to plumb everything and do everything for the air ride. So I didn't actually install the air ride for the car, but I ran into a lot of problems with the air ride. I had problems with the height sensors. They kept breaking. They also kept tripping and basically maxing out, so I couldn't actually level the car and all that stuff. So I was having a bunch of issues with these height sensors for the 3H setup. After a year, I actually just gave up on the height sensors, and I went back to a pressure-based 3P setup, and I haven't had any problems with the 3P since I actually went back to that setup, and it's a great setup for the car. So definitely would recommend, if you guys are looking to go with air ride or any kind of bag setup for your car, maybe try to stay away from the height sensors and stay more towards the pressure-based systems. There's less issues to deal with basically with the car then. So right after I actually installed my air ride, my OEM radio on the car actually went out. I couldn't listen to any radio stations, and I couldn't listen to the actual cassette players. And for me, I love driving with music, so I couldn't deal with that. So I actually had to go ahead and buy a new radio. I went ahead and bought a Pioneer double DIN touchscreen head unit, that was Apple CarPlay ready, and for me, it was awesome. Great head unit, and I've actually loved driving with it. It really helps just being able to connect with Bluetooth, and I really enjoy that aspect now of my car. About a year after I bought my air ride and did all that suspension work to my car, I wanted to get new wheels for my car just because I was actually running the stock OEM R32 wheels because I actually sold off my BBS wheels. So I was looking around and shopping, trying to find nice 3-piece wheels that I actually really liked. And I was looking, and I actually found my Rotiforms through forum pages actually, and they were down in Philadelphia. So me and my friend drove down there and we picked them up. They're Rotiforms IND-Ts, and the fronts are 18 by 9s and the rears are 18 by 10s. So they sit really nice on the car. I love these wheels. I think they're super beautiful. I only drive or use these wheels in the summer just because I wouldn't want to drive with these wheels in the winter with all the salt on the road. So actually in the winter I still switch back to my stock R32 wheels. But I love these wheels and I think they look so beautiful on the car. So guys, this wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of all the modifications I've done to my R32. If you guys liked the video, please hit the like button, please comment below, and please subscribe. All the modifications I've done to my car will be in the descriptions below, so you guys can go check them all out. And I hope I get to see you guys soon in another video.